Hey, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Someone in the comments section had said, hey, I want to look at some of the individual companies of uranium. So do uranium update. So you know what? I'll do a uranium update. So let's look at some of these companies and see what they are doing and what my opinion is on the uranium companies. So this is a uranium update. First, I want to look at the uranium price itself. This is a 5-year chart. You can see we've got a support line here. Came down and kind of bounced, went just below it, and then we're coming back up over this support line. This is very positive. This looks like it's a bottoming process for sure. Now I zoomed in, and what we got here is we got a downtrend, and it's just coming up and tagging this downtrend line. Hopefully it breaks through here. If it breaks through, I think we're going to see some really good moves for the price of uranium and for the companies themselves. So looking at the companies, CCJ, Camco, we've got a very nice surge higher here. See the big up days, the big candlesticks, and then we've got this small pullback. This looks like a continuation pattern to me, that this is going to continue to go higher. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like we're sitting, there's some resistance here, which then becomes into support. We've got support under here. We've got buyers where this wick is down here. I think this looks like it's going to go higher, maybe a few days, week from now, or even tomorrow. But I think it looks like it's going to go path of least resistance is higher. Energy fuels. If we look at this, the big candlestick up days and then the small pullbacks. We've got the small little wicks here pulled up higher. The size of these days is contracting a little bit over time. So maybe it's going to tire out a little bit. Maybe we do get a little bit of a pullback, but still, no matter how big this pullback is, I still think this looks very good. And I think this is the beginning of a very long uptrend. That's what my opinion is. This is laramide. We broke the downtrend here. We're coming up higher. We're going to grind sideways for a little bit probably. And eventually I think this is going to break free of this resistance area up here. It's just going to take some time to work off the sellers. Global Atomic. Now that looks like, grade 1, tier 1 cheetah speed here. Looks very good. See this big move higher, this big candlestick, and then the sideways action? That's a very good trait to see before a big move. We moved higher with these big candlesticks, and then see the small sell-offs? We're seeing just small sell-offs. The buyers have total control of this right now. So this looks very good. Looks very strong. Uranium, North Shore Global Mining. Again, downtrend break, see the big up days and then the sideways movement. This is the dead period. This is where you could accumulate a whole bunch. Moved higher, small pullback. Moved higher, small pullback. Moved higher, small pullback. See these small days where the opening and closing prices are almost the same? We had a wick on the top. I'm like, oh, it's going to go sideways or down a little bit. Sideways or down a little bit. We've got a little an up day, which could be a bullish engulfing or whatnot, but I would expect this to go sideways or higher very soon. It looks very good. I don't see the sellers just stepping in and slamming this thing down. Here's URG Energy. I got a little bit more here. I drew in these little chart patterns, continuation patterns. Up, continuation pattern, I think. You see this thing break to the upside here. I think you're going to see another nice move, like impulse move like this one, to the upside. So sideways and then up. We see it in Canalaska too. Nice big flag pattern. It's moving sideways. We've got buyers down here with the wicks. And I think we're going to move sideways a little bit, maybe a couple more days or a week more, or maybe it just blasts off higher. But it looks pretty good. It could break to the downside. It could, and have a little bit of a pullback. But I think it'd be a false breakout to the downside, and I think it's just going to come back and go higher if you see the price of uranium break that downtrend on that first or second page that I showed you. Here's deep yellow. You see this a lot. You see these big moves higher in the beginning of a big uptrend move. This is like a 50-60% day right here. Now, these moves could be the beginning of that big move higher on all these companies if you look. That could be the initial surge, because you see that on a lot of companies. They initially surge higher quite quickly, and then they just kind of get in this nice pattern above the 50-day moving average where it kind of cycles above the 50-day and moves on up. So I think this is looking very good. Deep yellow. Here's Encore Energy. Again, I see a continuation pattern. We've got the bullish engulfing right here, this big candlestick engulfing the ones before it. That's why I have it circled. We broke out of this chart pattern down here. So we broke out, it pulled back, bullish engulfing. I'm like, ooh, this is going to be good. We're pulling higher, and now we've got a consolidation pattern. I think this is going to break to the upside, and you could see another very large move upward. Maybe in a single day, maybe over a couple days, but this looks like a continuation pattern to me. GoVX Uranium. We broke out of this downtrend. This is where you want to buy, is right off these breaks. Moved higher with these big, see these big candlestick days, and then this is a pullback. I think, notice how the pullback isn't just coming right back down. It's floating sideways is what I call it. You've got these wicks on the bottom here, means there's a bunch of buyers down here, a bunch. So I think you're going to see this thing float sideways and then continue up. The speed at which it goes up, I can't tell you that. You know, I don't have a crystal ball to tell you, hey, it's going to go up 10% 2 days from now. I don't have that granularity. I don't know. But you've got a small pullback. It's hanging out there on almost all these charts. It means the buyers are underneath holding all this up, and there's not many sellers. That is what these charts are telling us. The sellers are not there. The buyers are holding everything up on profit taking, and eventually it'll go sideways and move on up. That's kind of what I'm envisioning here. Does this have a large tie directly to oil prices? Because I know a lot of these are in energy mutual funds and energy ETFs and whatnot. Perhaps, maybe that's going to slow these down a little bit. But when energy comes back, when oil comes back, is what I'm basically referring to. When that moves that whole energy complex higher, I think these are going to move higher. And in history, it's shown that they've been somewhat, they are correlated. They're not trading separately. There is a correlation there. How strong that correlation is could be debated, but there is a correlation. It's probably something like 80% or plus on an R-squared value if you know linear regression analysis and stuff. So my guess is these are going to go higher. We're just in a pausing pattern, just like all of the other oil stocks and energy stocks. So just give it some time, relax. We're going to see energy demand come back very strong, I think, in spring of 2021. So I expect these to continue on their track higher, and then I see an accelerated pace spring, summertime of next year when COVID kind of goes away and the vaccines gets out there and whatnot. And we could see a vastly higher oil price quicker than what most people think. So these could be moving higher too, quicker than what we think if people come back and start traveling again. So that's what I've got for today. If you guys like this content, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.